The journey of a maiden who feared herself worthless, across the seas and through her own heart.
Então, pessoal, quando chegarmos aqui a 30 comentários com a hashtag certinha, que vai estar ali perto do final do vídeo, vai estar a hashtag que é para deixar nos comentários, tá? Quando tiver 30 comentários com a hashtag certa, que eu coloquei ali no final do vídeo, eu faço o sorteio. Então, uma coisa importante, os membros do canal podem comentar 3 vezes, essa é uma das vantagens que os membros do canal têm. E se tu entrar nesse vídeo aqui por acaso e ver que tem ali uns 60 comentários, tem que olhar o que eu respondo nos comentários. Eu sempre coloco ali o primeiro comentário anotado, 10º anotado, 11º anotado, entendeu? Então fica prestando atenção nisso aí. E boa sorte a todos. E logo que tiver os 30 comentários eu já faço o sorteio. Valeu, boa sorte.
Mindless and lacking in difficulty as before. In fact, I'd argue this game is even easier. There is less character customizability due to some party members having fixed equipment, and the game seemingly has to account for that by limiting the health and damage dealt by foes. As a result, little to no preparation is required for any bosses, and most players will find themselves steamrolling them. Cooperative attacks are added between specific groups of characters, yet they don't differentiate in application enough from standard attacking skills. Moreover, the absence of induced tabletop elements in combat and exploration has carried over from the last game. Aside from dice rolls determining status effects, bonus damage, and events in the overworld, this feels more akin to a turn-based JRPG with a superficial tabletop skin. Granted, I was caught off guard by a few instances of dice rolls being more meaningful, at least in a gameplay sense. For example, an NPC can give you a piece of equipment for free depending on a dice roll, with a failed roll resulting in a loss of expenses. Further incorporation of this kind of risk-reward system throughout the title would have been appreciated to shed this skin into a more meaningful impact. Thankfully, the high-speed mode added to the Isle Dungeon Roars via an update post-launch is included here, providing swifter progression for those turned off by the slow pacing of the default game speed. This does aid in alleviating the unexpectedly high encounter rate, which is often more frustrating than helpful. Instead, levels are earned rather swiftly, and you don't ever need to grind for story battles, making the onslaught of mobs faced off against in dungeons more of a collective annoyance. These high encounter rates are confusing because of the enemy's brittleness and lack of difficulty, so they feel like wastes of time. A few simple but effective puzzles are placed throughout some areas, and
The journey of a maiden who feared herself worthless, across the seas and through her own heart. I'm certain we'll meet again in the world of voice